Hello, welcome back. Welcome to this episode of Altitude. And with me today we have Sasha. Sasha from the Afrobot Coalition, formerly the Afrobot Boys and Girl. How are you doing today, Sasha?
I'm doing very well.
So I thank you for taking time away from your busy schedule. I know that you've been in a coding class. We'll talk a little bit about the coding class. We're going to talk a little bit about your experience with the robotics team that you were on. And we're going to maybe talk a little bit about how you got interested in diving into the whole robotics thing. So why don't we start there? Does that sound good?
Sure.
So how did you get interested in robotics?
Well, it first started when I went to Orlando, Florida for a dance competition. There was this day off, so we decided to go on rides. There was this one ride, it was the under the sea ride from The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
There was this one time in the ride, there was like little puppets acting. I'm like, how did they do that? Mm-hmm. And so my mom told me it's coding. And so that's how I got interested to coding.
So you were in Orlando, and was it at Disney or Little Mermaid at Disney?
Disney, yes.
And then, so you saw the puppets that were moving, and then that's how you got interested in how the arms move and
Yes.
Okay, and all the whole robotics thing just took off from there, and that's how you guys became to be the world-renowned Afrobot boys and girl for that one season. So you got into robotics that way. How did you find out about more about coding? I mean, do you go to any coding classes or?
Well, I just started a coding class last week. It's at BDPA. Mm-hmm. We learned how to use HTML to like make a story or something like that, okay. And how to make an unordered list, and how to do a number by number with pixels with a picture.
So you're doing graphic sizing when you can. So is that when you put the picture on a web page and you can change the sizes of it? Is that the pixels?
Yes.
Because not everybody is smart as you. So we got to make sure we let our audience know about all that stuff. So that's pretty amazing. So you're learning HTML, you're learning about graphics, and you're learning about all the visual aspects of it as well as programming, right? Because you said you had a list. What kind of lists are there? You said unordered lists.
So it's basically like a list that you make, but with coding. Mm-hmm. So the unordered list, it will look like as if it had bullet points. Mm-hmm. Now, there's an ordered list. That ordered list would have like numbers by the side of it.
Very cool.
And then you could program a list inside of a list. Now that uses ABCs and
all kinds of,
yeah,
I mean, you can do
letters.
Once you learn how to do that, so you still have a few more weeks that you'll be attending that, right? So that's going to go for a while. That's very good. And I neglected to say, what grade are you in?
5th.
You're in 5th grade, but
I was supposed to be in 4th.
Right.
I actually went to 4th for the first term and a little bit of term 2. That's when I moved to 5th grade, mm-hmm. which is the other side of the building. Wow. of the
facility of the school.
Yes.
So you were on the younger side. So here
Yes.
you are a 4th grader. Actually, you should be in 4th grade, but you're actually really in 5th grade because you got jumped ahead.
Yes.
And you're doing all this coding, right? Doing
yes.
the coding, and you worked on a robotics team, right, through the Minnesota STEM Partnership. Nice
yes.
shirt, by the way. And you guys did a fantastic job there and had a good time. We'll talk a little bit about the experience you had, but I'm really fascinated by all the technology that you learned as part of that. So tell me a little bit about the competition. So you have the actual part of the competition that the robot, you program the robot, and then you have a presentation, right?
Yes.
So let's talk first a little bit about the presentation. What was the competition about? And tell me a little bit about your...
Well, the competition was about outer space. So the project that I did was basically like problems that can occur in space. The problem that I was thinking of was oxygen, because like that's basically the most important thing that you need. And so, you know the oxygen tanks that are on the astronauts' backs while they're like completing tasks.
While they're floating around,
Yes,
out
yes.
tethered, right?
If that ran out, there would be nothing to do if there was no
They'd be in
backup.
big trouble.
Yes.
They would be. So, yeah, so what would they do? What was your presentation about?
It was about like how we can have the backup oxygen tank on the arm with oxygen
Oh,
so that they can actually return to the space shuttle without having problems.
that's a brilliant idea. So your thought was they just strap something on their forearm
On
or
the arm,
something.
yeah.
Then they have enough to get back. That's good. Some kind of reserve supply type of thing. That's very good. I hope NASA sees this video. Need to send you down out to outer space too, help out those astronauts. So in addition to having the presentation, you guys did pretty good at your presentation, I hear too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you did. So let's talk just real briefly a little bit about the robot and programming the robot. What was the competition like, and then what part of the robot did you like best?
The competition, it could be fun, but it could be like frustrating because the robot can like glitch during
It's mission
Do-
type of
yes.
thing when it's moving?
yes.
Okay.
And that's how it could be frustrating. But the thing
But
that
you didn't get frustrated, did you?
No.
Very much? Okay.
So that's how like, but when it's fun, it doesn't really have to be frustrating because like you'll probably be able to figure out a way to
Maybe.
make it stop glitching. Because every time we finish our mission or like
When you get done with it?
yes,
And then it does-
when we go back to the room, we can actually add things to the program so that it won't glitch during the mission.
Very cool, very cool. So was it a new experience? How many times have you been to a competition like that?
I've only been to a competition once. That was my first competition
Okay,
with programming.
fantastic. And you guys did a fantastic job too. So hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully you'll come back or you'll do other types of competitions, I'm sure, that are ahead of you. Now, tell me a little bit about, have you thought about what school or even what type of job, or you're free to just say whatever career you think you might want to go into? Have you ever thought about what kind of job you want to get?
No.
Well, you got plenty of time. Let me tell you, you keep doing what you're doing and stay focused in on your grades and your school, because obviously you're brilliant. You're able to jump ahead a grade, and just keep doing what you're doing. I'm sure you have a very, very bright future ahead of you. So Ms. Sasha, thank you very much for coming today on this episode of Altitude.